we're going to get started with what's your name, how old are you, and where are you from?
I'm Melissa. I'm 35 and I'm from San Luis Obispo, California.
All right. And the big question is, how did you become an Elvis fan?
So I became an Elvis fan. It was actually my dad one night. He was watching an Elvis docudrama. It was Jonathan Rhys Meyers that was starring in it. And I just casually sat down and started watching with him and like instantly was enamored and was like, Dad, why have you been gatekeeping on Elvis? And anyways, just had to learn everything about Elvis after that point. And my mom would take me to the library to rent CDs at that time. And so I rented like all of Elvis's CDs and just like totally deep dived into his music and also like his movies. And anyways, that's
Yeah.
how I got.
Yeah. So was there like a community of people that you could talk to at that time, or was it just like you on your own?
It was me on my own, and I was definitely the outcast. I was in high school at the time, and um, you know, people would be like, Elvis, really? But I would always defend him, and I would tell them about him. But yeah.
Yeah. But now it feels like you found a pretty good community. Years later, now that the Elvis movie has come out, there's been a really good, surge of people on social media who have, like fallen in love with him and are constantly sharing things. So how has it been to be able to find a community now?
It's been really great. I remember like the anticipation leading up to the Elvis movie. I've been a fan for 20 years. So just like hoping that they were going to show him in the right light in that movie. I was like very protective of that. Um, and I was just like, waiting to hear the reviews of that. But what it's grown to now, it just really like just touches my heart because so many people actually appreciate him now and know who he is now and just like the the visitors to Graceland every year like um anyways, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here if that's okay.
Yes, please.
So when I first graduated high school, my dad said for my graduation gift, he would take me anywhere I wanted to go. He was thinking I was going to say like the Bahamas or somewhere like Italy. And I said, I want to go to Graceland, Dad. So that was my first visit to Graceland. And anyways,
Yeah. So what was that like? Like you've had all this time, like you had started to get into Elvis and then you like get to Graceland and you like walk in the doors of Graceland. Like what was that feeling like?
so really it didn't so back then it was when the Heartbreak Hotel was still standing. So we stayed at the Heartbreak Hotel and we pulled up to the Heartbreak Hotel and my dad looked at me and I was bawling and I there was Elvis music playing out loud and I looked at him and I was like, Dad, I don't want to leave. But my very first time that I visited Graceland, it was the meditation garden, and he let me be, and I sat there and I cried for a straight hour. You can just feel his presence in that garden, and every time I visited since, I still feel his presence in the meditation garden.
Hmm. Yeah. So how many times have you been now over the 20 years?
Three times.
Okay. Okay. So it looks like you've been there recently. I was stalking your Instagram a little bit. It looks like you've been there recently. So now that you've been a fan for 20 years, like how does it still affect you? Like has it changed over the years of what you get out of going to Graceland?
Um, I love that there are so many people that are understanding him from the movie. I mean, take what you will from the movie. I mean, some of the things I feel like they're a nice spin on his story, if you've read the books. Um, but it just really makes me happy that much more people are appreciate him, and I don't feel like I'm like this single man out, just like defending him all the time, you
Mhm.
know? It's a good feeling that there are more people out there that love him and understand him now and take the time to research him.
Yeah, and now they have that whole complex now too. That was like before 20
Yeah,
years ago, it was just the house, and now it's
yeah,
got like, this whole complex with like jumpsuits and like all that
yeah.
cool stuff. So that must be nice too to be able to go in and see all that stuff.
It is. I am sentimental to the old complex, but because I got to experience it, but I do love, I mean, you walk in that jumpsuit room and it's just so grand, you know, you're like, wow, it's spectacular.
Yeah. So what has surprised you most about your Elvis journey over these 20 years?
Um, I wouldn't say really my journey. I would say the most surprising thing to me was about Elvis actually is that he had stage fright and he was such a magnetic and electric person. And you would never think, like, just seeing how comfortable he is on stage and how he is, how he was with people, just that somebody like that could have such stage fright and still to his, very last day be so nervous.
Yeah, yeah, that was so crazy, man. Like you see him backstage and you see him like like doing all his shaking and like, going a million miles a minute, and then he walks out on stage and he's just comfortable. Like it just looks like he's home.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You would never know.
Yeah, exactly. So how would your life be different if you didn't have Elvis in it?
Well, for me, because I discovered Elvis so young, I always felt like um, I personally never fit the mold really as far as my fashion sense or dressing. And when I found Elvis, I discovered that he didn't really fit the mold. And I think that's why I connected to him so much, because I felt like, wow, he was fearless in that way, where even though like he got made fun of for being different, he didn't stop and he ran with it. And that's kind of what I do, again with my fashion. And even if I get weird looks for the way that I style myself, I realize mentally I'm up there and I'm like, you know what, Elvis didn't care. You shouldn't care either. And then I just continue on with my life.
Yeah, and your fashion is unbelievable. Like I like as you flip through your Instagram, it's just like, oh my God, like I wish I could wear stuff like that. Like I wish I had the confidence to wear some of this stuff because like it's just awesome. Like you just look so confident. You know what I mean? Like and you're just so like I love it. I absolutely love it. And you can see the Elvis confidence. You can see the Elvis effect in you. So I love that. So what do you think is the most important thing that non-Elvis fans should know about Elvis?
Um, I've actually been thinking about this a lot all day, and a lot of people say his generosity. I think that was a big thing. But really, just I think people need to really understand how humble he was and how humble, he started and what he came from to what he was, and he never forgot that. And I think that's really important in this day and age. Like, you know, my one of the best quotes is "Don't criticize what you don't understand, son. You never walked in that man's shoes." So, um, try to live by that, and I think that's a big important piece.
Yeah, fun. So my last question for you is, what does being an Elvis fan mean to you today?
It's really it being an Elvis fan is my core. I mean, like I said, I found Elvis when I was very young and insecure and trying to find myself really, and just the way he lived his life and his philosophy for life. Um, I kind of take that as my draft for how to live my life really. And I mentioned a quote earlier, but my all-time favorite quote by Elvis was the one he wrote to his girlfriend Sheila, which was, philosophy for happy life is someone to love, something to look forward to, and something to do. So I always think of that and, you know, never try to get too stressed out by life because I think it's really about that. So
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I
yeah,
love to see the effect that Elvis still has on people today, like somebody who passed away nearly 50 years ago, and he's still developing new fans and he's still having like a personal effect on people, that's like propelling them forward in their lives. And I think that's so cool. One of the coolest things about Elvis is that like he thought he was going to be forgotten and he's still motivating people today, in ways I think he never expected.
it's incredible. I just think there's been no other person that's really figured that out, and I don't even really think that he knew what he had.
Mm, no.
That
Yeah.
so.
Well, great. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for talking to me today. This has been really, really cool. And I think you're such a cool person and you can see the Elvis effect through you. So keep on pushing and keep on like living loud. I think it's fabulous. So thank you so much.
Thank you.